Hey everyone, Happy New Year from the Calcio Bros. It's Christian here, and we have our first game back from Serie A this weekend. So lots to talk to, a couple player debuts as well, and especially some big transfers that have happened as well, taking place in between the winter break and as well as just after. But we will get to that as well, talking about everything that happened, and of course talking about what happened this weekend and going into next weekend and what else we can see as well. So we're going to open up again with Sunday. There's only 4 games. So 6:30 we had Brescia Lazio. Lazio scoring late in the game, and they go on to 9 consecutive victories in Serie A, and they're outstanding. I don't know what Inzaghi has really done, but he's truly established Lazio as the team to beat. It's incredible the work he's done. He's transformed Lazio into a good team in Serie A to compete, and it really looks like they can challenge for the Scudetto. There's still some point difference between them and Inter Lazio, but still they're getting up there. And considering they did beat Juve, they have the head-to-head over them, and they only have a couple losses, so we can't mark out Lazio just yet. Also to note from that game, Balotelli scored the opening goal of the decade, and he also did it as well back in 2010. So he's the first player to do it in both decades, so impressive for him. I doubt he'll be around another 10 years, but who knows? We'll see what happens. After that, we had Spal Verona. Verona taking the victory 2-0. Important win for them as they continue their impressive run as well, and then condemn Spal to another defeat, sees them dead last in Serie A. We had Genoa Sassuolo, Davide Nicola's first game in charge of the Genovese side, and they go on to win it 2-1 as well. A good victory for them, and then deserved to be another loss for him. Unfortunately, not the result he probably would have taken, but what are you going to do? Afternoon game was Roma-Torino. Torino taking the victory 2-0. Torino played well. They played great defensively. Sirigu was on top of his game as well. And Roma, they did have a lot of missed chances. They may not have played the greatest, but there was also a lot of questionable calls during that game as well. Right before Torino struck their first goal, there was a free kick outside of the box, handball by Izzo, but Izzo was already booked in that game, so there he should have been sent off. There should have been a couple other calls, again, probably for Roma's way, but none of that happened. Belotti sealed the victory with his brace during the game. 2 late goals in both halves to seal it, and great win for Torino to start off the year, but it's not exactly what Roma wanted to do to start off the year in the right direction. Now going on to Monday, where we had the rest of the games. In the morning we had at 6:30 Bologna-Fiorentina 1-1. This was Pepe Iachini's first game in charge of La Viola. He was just about to win it until Orsolini scored a stunning free kick right at the death to equalize for Mihailovic's side. Important win for them. And again, Fiorentina go another game without a win. How long are we going to wait to see them get a positive result? They were close, right? But what are they going to do with a wonder strike from that? So they can only move into a positive direction with that. 9 a.m. we had a couple games. We had the usual 3 games actually. So Juve, Cagliari 4-0. Cagliari defended so well in the first half. They managed to keep Juve at bay, but you could see the goal was coming eventually, and we know we will start to see Cagliari slide a bit. They were performing above expectations for sure. This also does condemn them to a 3rd consecutive defeat. They could pick themselves up again, but this is maybe where we'll start to see their descend into mid-table perhaps. Like, we knew they probably wouldn't finish that high up in the table, but this is where you can really see it. Ronaldo bags his first hat-trick in Serie A, scoring whenever he can. He basically scores when he wants. And Juve, like I said, continued the pressure, and they eventually found the way to beat Robin Olsen and seal the 3 points at the Allianz Stadium. Then we also had Atalanta Parma finishing 5-0 here. It was 3-0 in the first half. Atalanta finishing off last year with a 5-0 victory over Milan, and beginning the year with a 5-0 victory here. 10 goals in 2 games. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And the wonders Gasperini's been doing with his team, no one would have expected it. We can probably consider Atalanta a top team, and we can probably see him continue on to fight for that Champions League spot. Like, they are probably one of the most exciting teams to watch, and I feel like in this market, they shouldn't get too many players, maybe 1 or 2 players, just for a couple, like some added depth going forward for the rest of the season, and maybe for their Champions League run. But I feel that they don't need too many players. They have enough right now to continue their hot run. Last 9 a.m. game, we did have Milan and Sampdoria. Milan were hoping to get something against a struggling Sampdoria side, but ever since Ranieri took over the Blue Cerchiati, you could see there's a little more organization with the side. They managed to defend better, but Milan's a team right now without ideas. They seem lost. There's chances they can create, but they just can't capitalize. And many eyes were also on this game because it was the return of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who joined the team just before the New Year's, and he came off the bench to replace Piontek, and right away he was already creating chances. And with Ibra, I do expect a bit more from Milan, and maybe to play off him. He can definitely help others play better. The 1 year, basically in his last year, where they got Nocerino, who was a decent midfielder, but playing off Ibra, he managed to score more than 10 goals in the season, even bag a hat-trick in 1 game. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for his leadership, his winning mentality. He can help Milan, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And I know Ibrahimovic at 38 isn't the same player that he used to be, but he does bring that added quality. And if they can play off him, maybe he can shoot from distance, he can create, he can do a lot. Maybe not as much as he used to as well, but he can definitely help reinvigorate this Milan side, and that's what they need. They need life in them. And maybe him and Leao will be able to make a good partnership, but there are some tweaks that Milan need to do. And I know, again, wasn't the right move to fire Gattuso. They should have only gotten rid of Gattuso if they had a proper manager to fill in the gaps, or fill in his spot, sorry. But still, replacing Gianpaolo, then Pioli right now is just a temporary to get Milan back together. But at the same time, you can't really see it. You don't know if that'll happen. It's tough to say what else they're going to do this January transfer window. But keep an eye on them, because with Ibra, they can still be very dangerous. And here too, they did have several chances but couldn't capitalize, and they need to be better if they want to move up in the standings and start winning again. Midday game, we had Lecce Udinese, and Udinese scoring very late with a great goal from Rodrigo De Paul, and manages to get an important victory for Udinese, and they help climb up the table as well. And this does condemn Lecce to another defeat, but it's also that other than another defeat, they still have not won at home, which is very surprising because, usually you tend to play better when you're at home and you get to win more at home. But with all their 3 wins coming away from home, they're really struggling and they can't afford to drop points. And if they don't do anything, they're going to eventually find themselves relegated again. Last game of the afternoon was Napoli-Inter. Inter taking all 3 points, and again, thanks to the partnership between Lautaro Martinez and Romelu Lukaku. Romelu Lukaku scoring great goals here. Second one, maybe for him, actually, bit of a mistake from Merritt. Probably couldn't truly handle the ball, and it did look like it took a slight dip to throw him off, but still should have done better there, where he parried it and went through his own legs into the net. But Napoli, again, didn't look great. They had some chances, but they didn't look the greatest team there. Inter definitely outplayed them, and I know Napoli right now it is a bit of a mess, and they can only do so much to salvage their season, because right now they're not sitting that far up, and they could even miss out on Champions League. And they get rid of Ancelotti and replace him with Gattuso, but I don't know if Gattuso would have been the best coach to replace him. I know he can help reinvigorate the team, but I don't think it was a coaching issue as well. Yes, Ancelotti probably had some of his mistakes, but there's something in the team that's not getting them to be the best that they can, and that is costing them completely. And Inter and Juve are now in front again, or they continue to be in front, tied on points at the top of the Serie A table, 45, again with Lazio behind by 6 points. Roma just 4 points behind Lazio, so they're not too far away, but they're only a point ahead of Atalanta, who are creeping by. So time to really pay attention how that goes. We do have Milan at 12th spot as well, not where they want to be. Napoli's at 8, 10 points behind Atalanta, 11 behind Roma. So they really want to put pressure on these teams, but they can't. They're putting their own pressure on themselves to not succeed at all. Bottom three right now, we have Spal, Genoa, and Brescia. Genoa did get onto winning ways with Nicola, and they started off the year right. While Brescia again lose once again, Spal lose once again. It's still very close. We do have Lecce at 14 points, Sampdoria at 16. Fiorentina is still very close with 18 points, so we could even see them get relegated. They almost did last year. And it's very capable that they can, right? So let's see how... I know we're in the January transfer window, so teams really have to strengthen themselves if they want to keep going forward. And speaking of transfers as well, I will talk about one move as well, other than the Ibra move that was one of the biggest ones. We did have Dejan Kulusevski from Parma, who is on loan from Atalanta. Juve buying him for 35 million and keeping him on loan at Parma to develop. So he's a very young midfielder playing extremely well. He's having a good breakout. But I just want to say, is it the right move for Kulusevski? I know Juve have sort of had a bad reputation when it comes to these young midfielders, and they haven't gotten the playing time they needed to develop or do anything, and you see these talents wasted pretty much. It's good that he's still at Parma for the rest of the year. I know they're saying if they do sell another midfielder, and like Chan or Kadir or whoever, that he would be brought in. But I don't know if it would have been great to go to Juve. You could have gone to maybe another midfield, probably it would have been easier for him to develop even further. He's doing well at Parma, so it's good to see that he's there. But I'm not sure if Juve, maybe someone like Fiorentina, Milan, Inter, Roma, like one of those. I don't know if Juve, because they tend to buy. It's either because they want all the best players, which they do get, or buy players just for the sake of buying players, so other teams can't play them. Which, and sometimes then all these talents are wasted because they don't get to play. And I don't know. I do hope he can play well at Juve. He has played exceptionally well, and maybe he can fit in that midfield alongside Pjanic, maybe Matuidi. And I do know a lot of their midfielders are much older, so maybe he can really slot himself in. I know it may take some time, but sometimes he is a bit younger, and he can definitely wait a little bit, but you don't want to wait too much where your career's basically at a stall. So hopefully it'll work out for him. And then even speaking, since he was also on Atalanta bought him for cheap and making so much money off him. Atalanta have done so well in that sense of getting players and selling them for quite a hefty fee on the Plus Valenza. They're even looking at getting rid of Ibanez and Musa Barro as well, and that's going to be added profit for them too. But they've found ways to buy so many players for cheap and still be competitive. And not like Udinese, who have bought players for cheap, as we remember, Inler, Sanchez, Handanovic, but they have not remained competitive at all. You can tell that Atalanta look like a Champions League team, a European competition team, but Udinese, look where they are right now. They've been struggling. So it's smart from Atalanta because they've managed. So let's see what else happens as well. Perin goes back on loan to Genoa, and again he played in the vital victory against Sassuolo as well. They even got experienced midfielder Valan Barami to help him, and Destro hoping he can help Genoa fight relegation, as he was being frozen out of Bologna or just not playing enough. Juventus even sold Mario Mandzukic, who has barely found time under Maurizio Sarri. He goes to Dubai. Not sure, he still had plenty to offer. Maybe he would have done well at Serie A. I could have seen even him go to Milan again, because he would have been great for that for leadership qualities there. He could have probably even gone to another team. And they even sold young North Korean striker Han, who probably could have played for another Serie A team, but wasting his talents in Dubai. And again, that's just Juve probably not wanting them to play against them and play with their rivals. So I don't know. Like, that's some of these moves are interesting. Some of them are not, but they just want to strengthen their team as well as not strengthening their rivals. So in a way, it's smart, but in a way, it's like some of these players are so talented they shouldn't be wasting their time in a league like Dubai. They could have still stayed in Europe, perhaps, but looks like it wasn't going to happen. So those were the results and some of my personal opinion on some of these latest transfer news, I guess. Let me know what you guys thought about this weekend's opening round in Serie A. What were you guys excited for a certain game, a certain player debut? I know we're all expecting Ibra to do something, and that unfortunately didn't happen, but I know he will come clutch when he needs to be. Do you think a lot of these teams' fortunes can change? Let me know what you guys think. So now we're going to go on to round 19 of Serie A. So this will be after this game, we are officially halfway done the Serie A season. That means we only have 19 games left, and I can't believe it's already it's already halfway here, and it's going to be closing down in a few months. It's sad to see after you wait so long for it to come back, and we just come back for this break. We're all going to miss Calcio, you know? So January 11th, 9 a.m., Cagliari, Milan. Cagliari again, we're coming off 3 straight defeats, so they hope to turn their fortunes around, a struggling Milan side back at home. So this can be a very intriguing game. As we know, Cagliari have played exceptionally well. Even against some of the bigger teams that they have lost against, they have played really well and can handle themselves. So let's see how Milan can go against them. Will Pioli change his tactics? Because I know there's rumors that Ibra wants to play with Leao, so they could be switching from a 4-3-3 to the 4-3-1-2. So now it's who goes behind those two. Where's Suso going to play? Is he going to play as a trequartista, or is he going to start off on the bench? So there's a lot to see here, how these teams will change their tactics going against each other. Noontime game, we do have a big one here, Lazio-Napoli. If Lazio do win, they go on a 10-game consecutive winning streak in Serie A, while Napoli will hope to struggle and get some sort of victory here. They only have 1 win in their last 5 games, so they really need a change of fortune, because they know if they can beat a in-form Lazio, they know they can start changing their season around, and it will definitely help them push forward in the table. And we also do know that Lazio are even down a game as well. So if they can win those 2 games, they're tied points with Inter and Juve. But they do have to remain in form for that. Now, last game as well on that Saturday is Inter-Atalanta. And this is again going to be a huge, huge game, considering how in form Inter have been as well. And they have been one of the best teams so far, with one of the best attacking duos of Martinez and Lukaku. So really watch out for them. And how are they going to go up against a team with Ilicic, Papu Gomez, and like all these talented young players? And this will be a great game to watch. I doubt Atalanta will be able to score 5 goals in 3 consecutive games, but I do expect there to be goals in this game. So I really can't wait to see this and how this game will unfold. And 2 coaches such as Conte's and Gasperini's talents can go against each other. It's going to be a really exciting game. January 12th, 6:30, Udinese Sassuolo. So 2 teams who have struggled are really looking to do something. If Sassuolo wins, they will pass Udinese. While if Udinese win, they go on a 3-game winning streak, and they would really hope that can change their fortunes and they can finish in that mid-table spot. Fiorentina, Spal, again, both teams struggling here. This will be important for whoever can get the victories as well, because by the end, this could be helping towards the scontro diretto. And if someone needs to win it more, we're going to see who wants it more. Spal sitting at 12, Fiorentina at 18. So if Spal do win, they'll only go 3 points behind Fiorentina, and will help push themselves off the bottom, depending how the other two teams do as well. Sampdoria, Brescia, another two teams that haven't been doing so well, with only 2 points separating the two. Again, another scontro diretto game here. Who knows who will take it? It's basically who wants it more, right? Torino, Bologna. Torino look to go forward with their positive result against Roma, while Bologna as well, after fighting till the end against Fiorentina, will hope to carry out their confidence going forward against a strong Torino side. But again, Torino can be very inconsistent, so they will hope they can come out on top against Mihalovic's side. 12 p.m. we had Verona, Genoa. Verona are very much in form and hope to capitalize on Genoa's disastrous season so far. But again, Genoa did get the win, so they want to use that win to carry them forward and hopefully move them out of the relegation spot. Another big game of the weekend was Roma-Juve. This will definitely be another interesting and exciting game. Roma losing at home their first game. They're at home once again to Juve, and they will hope to do better this time around. They don't want to go on 2-game losing streak at home, and they hope to halter Juve's mini 3-game streak right now. Juve, again, want to keep pace on Inter. Depending on how they do, they could even pass them if they get the victory at the Olimpico. This is going to be a very tight affair, and maybe we'll see lots of goals, and we'll see how Dybala and Ronaldo will be able to work against a partnership of Smalling and Mancini as well. Last game on January 13th, which is the Monday, Parma-Lecce. Again, two teams who haven't done so well. Lecce hope to carry their form against Parma. Parma actually have doing so well. Lately, they're not doing as well. They didn't open up the year right, but they hope to make amends going against a Lecce side who did lose last game, but have looked much better on the road and have been able to get all their wins on the road. So we'll see who takes this now. So that's all the games for this weekend coming up. And like I said, many big games. 3 of them on the Saturday. We got the one on the Sunday. So which one are you guys looking forward to? Let me know which one you're very excited to watch and your thoughts on who will come out on top. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. Click the bell to receive notifications on our latest videos. Follow us on Twitter, Calcio_Bros, and we'll hear from you guys soon. Ciao!